Hello, everybody. We are back for another day of Free to Talk TV while James has abandoned us still. I'm Parker. I'm a youth and community support worker with Free to Talk. We have Charlotte, who is doing her work experience with us. We have Richard, who is a young person who is coming on this week, and Georgia, who joined us for another day, who also works for Community Courtyard. How are we all?
We are good.
Doing well.
Feeling very, very good.
Good. Well, as we normally do, we talk about what's been in the news, and obviously there's been a lot happening over the past couple of months. If you hadn't guessed, COVID is now a thing. One thing that has affected a lot of families really is young people going back to school and college. So obviously over the pandemic, when students have been at home, they've been sort of helping out a lot around the house a bit more, sort of babysitting, and all of this is obviously going to change a whole dynamic of things. And I imagine nurseries are going to see a very high rise on the demand of their services. So I know for my sister, she works in a nursery, and over the past couple of days, she's only had two or three children in, but she knows for next week she's got a lot more children coming in.
And nurseries and stuff, have they been kept open? Sorry.
They have been kept open, yeah. So they're classed as an essential service, I believe.
Okay.
Have they had their little COVID jab yet or not?
No, so they're not allowed it. So the vaccinations, only frontline key workers are allowed it. So that includes, so we know that care home staff has had theirs, I believe.
Yeah, I think
NHS staff are having theirs, and anybody who's classed as a frontline key worker, which has kind of created mixed signals, because as a youth worker, I'm classed as a key worker. My sister, who works in a nursery, she's classed as a key worker. It creates sort of that mixed signal, really.
Yeah, definitely. Because my mum's a teacher, and I work in a supermarket as well, so I'm classed as a key worker. My mum's having like lateral flow tests every week, but I mean she's not had the vaccine yet. Like I said, it's controversial, isn't it, about who needs it the most, really.
Yeah, I was going to say my partner's mother works in a nursery, and there was this whole I don't know if any of you've heard about it. There was this whole drama a few weeks ago because there was a loophole or something, so nursery workers could sign up to get the jab, and then because too many nursery workers used it, they then said none of you can get it, and really? Now and now they're all sort of just waiting for their jab, but they're around kids and parents all the time because they've stayed open. Yeah, so I would say that they should be at the top of the list with teachers, etc.
Me too, but it's where you draw the line, isn't it? And I suppose the government have to think about the top key people. I think obviously the NHS workers need it and things, but also if you're around children and parents all day, surely they need to have it as soon as possible. And if schools going back as well.
Exactly. I mean, if you think of it this way, say if you have, a parent who has asymptomatic COVID and then passes it to a nursery worker, and then that nursery worker then passes it to 5-10 children. I mean, that's just a nightmare scenario. You don't even want to think about it, do you? But that could easily happen.
Well, it's like in a school, if someone, because they have bubbles, don't they? I know they did the last time they were open. And then if someone in your bubble had COVID, everyone had to go off, which including teachers and students, which is such a pain. I mean, obviously, the whole purpose of being back to school is that it's safe, but at the same time, you can't eradicate it completely. But it's just a bit confusing, I think.
Richard, what do you think of it?
with the college, me and my mum had this conversation at the time. With the college, well, we kind of went away from it now because we're getting testing done at it. But before, it was like, so I'm going back in next week. So I'm
Yeah.
going to be mixing around with, I think I'm like 30 people in my class, but we're split into 2 classrooms. So I'm going to have 15 people. So I'm going to mix with them. If we never got the testing, one of them could have COVID. I could catch it. I could bring it over. My mum has something that could give her COVID easily. If I give it to her, then that's going to be a whole different thing. Then that's going to spread it to my other families, to my grandparents, to who they need the COVID vaccine still. So all that's going to do is put more stress on people.
Exactly. It's the issue of not just catching it and the impact on you, but it's the impact of everyone around you as well, which I think is hard to sort of think about, because I know they're trying to get kids back to school as a priority, but also, you know, you need to think about the impacts it can have on everyone, not just the student themselves.
Yeah, I believe Boris Johnson said that, or someone from the government said that they're not going to vaccinate key workers before the public because it would slow down sort of getting everybody vaccinated.
But surely there needs to be some sort of order to it, doesn't there?
Well, so my opinion, so my dad works a lot with doctors and pharmacists, and he was saying that because of their training, pharmacists are more than qualified to actually give people those vaccinations. So it's just a case of like being able to store them, because some of them have to be like really cold, don't they, for like a set period of time.
Yeah,
But the thing is that there are people who are qualified to do it. It's just the government haven't, you know, in my opinion, created a plan that utilises all of the skill sets of the people who could be rolling this out much faster.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle, really. Like not just for key workers, but for everybody, sort of, they're around, because I know if I pass COVID on to a young person, I'd feel so bad.
Yeah.
And I'd put the blame on myself. But obviously there's so long before the symptoms show where you can still spread the virus.
That's the issue, isn't it?
And you know, being asymptomatic and everything, it's weighing up those pros and those cons, really. Like, I personally disagree with the government saying how they're not going to vaccinate key workers, because as a key worker myself, it puts a lot of stress on those services, and their goal is to create as less stress as possible.
Yeah, because it's,
Yeah,
you know,
I was just going to say, I absolutely think that key workers should have priority. I mean, if you think about it this way, key workers, a lot of them are people who look after other people. So it doesn't make any rational sense for those people to potentially be carriers of this virus to potentially vulnerable people. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I feel like it could be completely avoided if it was planned properly.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, most key workers and things are working with either the public or vulnerable people or elderly people, you know, and they're the most at risk. So it would make sense for them to be vaccinated ahead of the public, just to reduce the risk of it spreading to vulnerable people.
Just quickly, there's somebody saying hello, Georgia.
Hi.
And then Alicia, hi to you.
Hi, Alicia.
It's a tricky subject, really, because everybody has their own opinions on how things should be run. And I think it doesn't matter what you do, somebody's always going to disagree. We've said this before, you know, so it's weighing up how it's going to work best for the country. Now, the government has put this plan in place for vaccinations because that's what they believe is best and will vaccinate people faster. But they've, in a way, can they really reflect on the experience of key workers properly, not being classed as a key worker themselves, like working out in the community?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because they don't have any, like I said, they don't have any experience of it firsthand of what it's been like having to work through COVID and things like that. And they might not realise how important it is for key workers and people to have the vaccine as soon as possible. Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think that they're listening to the people who actually know what they're talking about. Like, I'm not being funny, but most politicians don't have doctorates, you know? Like, they're not people with a PhD in anything medical. So I don't think that, I think if you're going to listen to anyone, you need to listen to those people. So if they're telling you, yeah, this is how we could do it, then it's just like, I don't even know what the word is, like ignorance, but it's not, because they know. So whatever the word is for someone who's being deliberately ignorant, willfully ignorant, that's what I think.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Because they're obviously being told the correct information, but I think in order for it to be the most effective, they need to see it and experience it firsthand, rather than just going off statistics and things like that.
I think the government's plan, like right now, is just to calm COVID cases down and the death rate. But going back to teachers, I can't get vaccinated until I'm 18. That's one of the things that I've looked at. And teachers can't, but I could still get COVID. The teachers might not be able to catch it because they had the vaccine, but you can still get COVID. You can still get COVID if you have the vaccine. But let's say I have COVID and I spread it to other people. So all that it's going to do is just add more cases onto it and they think it's going to go lower.
Definitely, especially if other students get it as well and you spread it between yourselves. The teachers might be safe, but the students are just at the same risk as before the vaccine.
Yeah.
Do we know, so I actually haven't heard that about not being able to be vaccinated until you're 18. What is the logic behind that? Do you know?
So the vaccine was only tested on adults 18 years and older.
Okay.
They are currently doing trials for those aged 5 to 18 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the logic behind it is not only have they only tested the vaccine on adults, but young people, children and young people, are less at risk of getting seriously ill.
Okay.
There's a very, very few people that have gotten seriously ill, young people that have gotten seriously ill from COVID.
But the issue with that is that they can still spread it to other people. So even if they're, not ill with it or severely ill, they could be asymptomatic and spread it to others in their house, which is one issue with not giving it to under 18s, I guess.
Yeah, I find it very, very odd. I mean, it must be horrible to be under the age of 18 and to just have that, because I mean, this has not happened like in my lifetime, in my parents' lifetime. I don't even think in my grandparents' lifetime that something has happened to this degree and this scale on a worldwide basis. So it must be very nerve-wracking for a young person to be watching all of this stuff in the news and then kind of be told, oh, but you can't get the vaccine, and seeing the results of what happens to people who do get COVID.
Yeah, is that how you feel, Richard?
It is a little scary because, like what Parker said, the only thing I'm going to be thinking of is if I catch it, I'm going to spread it to other people, and they could have an asthmatic person at their house or in their family that could catch it.
Yeah.
That could seriously do something to them. And I'm like, I caused that. because
Yeah.
I got COVID and then I spread it to other people without me knowing I had COVID.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is if you don't have access to the vaccine, it's not your fault that you haven't been able to have the vaccine. And if it spreads, then that's the government's view that they think it's safe enough. So you just need to remember that it's not your fault that you spread it. It's just the circumstance that we're in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What were you
it must be
gonna say,
really
Scott?
tough though. And I think if any young people are watching this, Richard including, then definitely reach out and tell someone if you feel nervous, anxious about going back to school or college or university, and to talk about it, because someone could have new information and you wouldn't even necessarily know. Like someone might be able to reassure you and say, well, actually, give you the statistics or give you updates on the situation. So that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Charlotte over this week we've done 2 more Free to Talk TV sessions previously, and we were saying how anxious we feel going back to university, because me and Charlotte are both students as well as working with Free to Talk, and it's like I feel anxious going back to uni. And again, there's so many different touching points. Like you've got the handrail on the stairs, you've got the buttons for the lift, you've got door handles, you've got the chairs that you have to pull out, and there's so many different things that you don't really think of too much. And we were also saying how going back to school, college, university, work, or whatever you're doing, it's going to be an anxious time. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see friends and visit my family, but I don't want to do it if I'm going to risk getting COVID myself or spreading it to anybody else that I know, whether I'm working with them or whether I know them in my personal life.
Yeah, I'd say you go. Sorry.
I was going to say, asking all of you actually. So, do you think that it would be worth putting together like a kit or like a little pack of something that you can take back to university or back to college that would kind of reassure you, like hand sanitizer, like wipes, things like that? Do you think that would like help alleviate some of that anxiety if you knew in my bag or in my backpack, whatever, I've got, XYZ?
I definitely think it would, because at work I'm given free PPE, so I'm given like free hand sanitizer, gloves, face masks if I need it. And I do think it puts you at a sort of relief when you know that it's there. So I think that would definitely be a really good idea. How do you feel about it, Richard, as you're going back to college soon?
I would do it 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely for people that might not be able to get them. I think the supplying them would be a whole lot safer. Like, I'm not going out anywhere without hand sanitizer or my mask.
No.
Yeah, I think that is a really good point that you just made, Richard, about like people potentially not having access to that kind of stuff. So I guess like what I'm thinking is it would be really helpful if schools and colleges and universities actually maybe contributed towards something like that and sort of provided some like very cheap kits, because I mean you can go to like Home Bargains, can't you, and like B&M, places like that, and just bulk buy like a load of stuff, and maybe they could put together little kits and sort of like hand them out to kind of help alleviate some of that anxiety. Because if you're going back, then you may as well go back with a little bit of assistance, like a little bit of comfort there.
Definitely. I think you go back as well.
I was going to say, when I was at home for Christmas, I went into Home Bargains because I knew I needed some more hand sanitizer. And in Home Bargains, there was this really big, like, tub of hand sanitizer. And it's just things like, you buy that, you buy your own bottles, put the hand sanitizer in the bottles and distribute them,
Yeah.
because that's a lot cheaper than buying individual already made up hand sanitizer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it can
And it
be
doesn't
so
need to be.
expensive.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to be that deep, you know. Like it doesn't need to be like this whole like drama of buying like 1,000 bottles of pre, hand sanitizer. Like there are ways of kind of doing it in a more, I guess, crafty manner, a bit more frugal.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Especially in a school as well with so many students and teachers. I think it should be something that's considered about, considering the cost of it and also giving it to people that maybe need it more than others or, are maybe more vulnerable to it.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on a bit, so schools and colleges, the examination process has changed. So the exams are being based off their coursework, their mock exams, and a couple of other things, which is all being put together and then the grade is produced. And
Yeah.
also on top of that, it seems like predicted grades are also being considered. Now, for me, if I was a student in school where my grades were based off my predicted grades, I wouldn't have passed school with C's. Now, I worked very, very hard to get my GCSEs. I just scraped C's because I really struggled in school. I just scraped C's. I got 1 or 2 B's, and I just scraped them as well. And it's things like my science. I got a C grade, but my predicted grade for science was an E. Now, if like I said, if my grades were based off my predicted grades, I wouldn't have passed school. I wouldn't be where I am today. I'd probably still be in college. And it's creating a lot of mixed emotions for a lot of students. And I know that some students are happy because they do really well in school, their coursework, they're getting A's, or whatever the grading system is now, and their predicted grades are high. But for those who maybe don't get such high grades, it sort of really affects them. And it makes me question whether the system they have put in place only benefits those who already have good grades and sort of disempowers those who struggle in school and who don't have high grades. I just sort of wanted to sort of gather what other people were feeling, and if anybody's watching, put comments in the chat. So Richard, because you're at college, you're doing assignments at the moment, what do you think?
With the predicted grades, I suffered from them last year. I never did my GCSEs. So I think I can't remember if it was predicted or teachers, but I think it was like a bit of both. And I was like, if it's predicted grades, I might be fine. Teachers' grade, maybe. But if they do them together, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to pass or not. Because going back to yesterday as well, like, I have a friend who was not taking education seriously. After, I think, like 4 months into year 11, he turned and he revised and learned a lot. And but that was like at the beginning of where COVID was becoming a thing, and we had no idea we were going to be off in March. So he had like probably like a month and a half to like try and get like starting to take education seriously. So we went off in March. He got his grades, and they were terrible. But knowing how much work he put in the first month and a half, and how much he would have put in, like the next 3 months, I dare say he would have got top grades for almost everything. So
yeah.
I understand they can do it, but it's like this is gonna probably help some people, and this is going to ruin some people because they're not going to be getting the grades that they expect to get.
Definitely. I think as well, it's really important, the thing you mentioned earlier about people making these rules and not having experience in the sector. I think, that's kind of evident at the moment because I struggled quite a lot with my maths and science with my GCSE, and I was borderline pass fail. And with my predicted, I wouldn't have passed. I would have had to retake. But that was not a reflection of my the work I put in, because I tried so hard. And I think it's just such a shame that people who are trying their absolute best and find it quite difficult, they're not getting the support and they're not getting the grades that they deserve, purely because of the new system that's been put in place.
I think it's really interesting because it's kind of going to show how different people kind of require a different type of learning or a different type of what's the word, like being tested, being assessed. What's the word?
As in exams or coursework, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm like kind of the opposite. So in school, I really struggled with attention and being able to sit still and not kicking off all the time. And so I had like really good predicted grades, but then my actual grades were terrible because I couldn't do exams. Like, you're in the big like exam hall and you've got like people walking around, and I would just get like everything. People would be walking past me and I'd be like, oh, look at those shoes. Oh, what is she wearing today? Oh, look. And it would just go on. And so like by the time I'd finish doing all that, I would be like, oh, now I need to like quickly scribble something down. So I actually do much better with like coursework, etc., because I get to do it at my own pace. And so if I do get distracted or I need like half an hour to like Google something because something's popped into my head and I'm like, oh, I need to find out the answer to that, I can do that, So
yeah, I'm the exact same. I think coursework for my A-level history, that was the only subject that had coursework, and I think without it I would have really struggled to pass. But because, like you said, you can do it at your own pace, there's no pressure of exams or anything. I think it's so beneficial for so many people because you're not having that added pressure of just one exam and you've got one attempt to take it, pass, fail.
Yeah. For me, in terms of GCSEs, I had some coursework in science, and I got an A in that coursework, but I got C for chemistry, a D for physics, and an E for biology. But altogether, it totaled a C because of my coursework.
Yeah.
And there are statistics, having studying education studies at uni. Yeah. There are statistics out there that say boys and men do better in exams because they do better under pressure, but girls and women do better in assessments because they're better at planning. And yeah, it's interesting, but I mean, not everybody's the same. There are going to be some men who prefer doing assignments and coursework, and there are going to be some women who prefer doing exams. And it sort of creates that discussion and that argument over whether the system we have in place, COVID or not, is an actual representation of their abilities. I know if I had done, because I also did BTEC sport and BTEC childcare in school, that I did a lot better in them than I did my GCSEs all put together. So it sort of creates that argument on whether the system we have in place now is a visual representation of their skills and their knowledge. Definitely. Because they're not using their preferred assessment method.
Definitely. Richard, what would you rather have, exams or coursework? A mixture of both, or?
I'd rather have coursework.
Yeah. Is that because you feel like you can't do as well under pressure, or? Because that's how I feel.
Yeah, it's like with exams, you have one shot. fail it, you fail it. But with coursework, you're like, if you fail it, then you get back and you can try again. And I'm like, okay, so I know what to not do this time, and I can know how to do it next time.
Definitely.
I think also, sorry, I was going to say, I think also with like exams, if you get like, depending on how you're wired, you know, in your brain, if you get a question that you don't really understand, then you are kind of it's a bit rubbish, because then you're just sitting there like, I actually don't know how to answer this because I don't really understand the question. Whereas if you have like coursework and there's something you don't understand in your assignment, you can say to your tutor, can you explain this to me? Or you can go over some materials and then you kind of go, oh, okay, so it actually means this. And then you can actually do the correct thing, rather than just like struggling, you know?
Yeah, because that was my issue with both my A-levels and GCSEs. I always learned as much content as I could, but I could never apply it to the question because I didn't understand the wording of the question. And it's not because I hadn't done what I was supposed to in preparation. I just didn't understand the wording, and then I'd lose so many marks because I just got the wrong end of the stick with one question because of the pressure and everything. So I think it'd be interesting to kind of maybe in a school give people the option with certain subjects to do more heavily coursework based, or more heavily exam based, depending on your strengths. Because surely at school they want you to do as well as you can, and then if you can play to your strengths, it will make the schools look good, and then you'll be better off because you'll have the grades that you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, my experience in my whole educational journey is that like I said before, I never done well in school. My predicted grades were really low. Most of them below C's. I really struggled in concentrating, reading, writing. I got distracted easily, and nothing was ever done about it. And I only just scraped C's. But then I went to college, and I did a BTEC Health and Social Care course, and I flourished. I got distinctions in the majority of my assignments, and I actually finished my 2-year level 3 course with a triple distinction star, which is the highest grade you can get. There was only one module. Yeah, there was only one module that I did throughout the whole of the 2 years where I got a merit. The rest of them were distinctions.
And that reflects, you know, that the education system probably, especially with GCSEs, it doesn't play to everyone's strengths. Because I know after GCSEs you can go to college or carry on with A-levels or whatever, or do something completely different. But I think it shows that there is an issue with it because everyone's expected to be at the same standard when it's completing their GCSEs, and it just simply doesn't suit everyone to just sit and do however many exams you have to do. I had about 20 exams, I think. I had 3 for each science, 3 for maths, 3 for English. It was crazy.
Yeah, with my GCSEs, so I got only, I would say, I can't even remember because it was quite a while ago, but I think I got like 3 or 4 maybe that were above like an E or a D, and then at university I was getting A+s like for every assignment, because it just that was my way of, you know, like that was my way of learning. That's my way of flourishing. Like I need time to do things because I have to do it my way, and one size does not fit all. So if you are watching this and you're struggling with your exams, struggling with your coursework, just remember that actually in a different environment you could be doing really, really well, and it doesn't reflect on you, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
Couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, and I think it's also important to recognise that everybody has their own difficulties. Everybody has their own skill set and abilities. And you know, when it's again reflecting on my own experience, like I didn't find out I was dyslexic until my 2nd year of university when I actually got diagnosed. Throughout school, my whole school life, I always struggled. The school knew I struggled, and they did, well, you're not bad of the bad, you know, you're not as bad as other people.
You're not bad enough.
But we legally have to do something for you. So here you go, here's 25% extra time in your exams.
But that's not going to help though, is it, for everyone? 25% time is not going to not going to make you pass it if you've been struggling the whole time.
And I think it's important to. So my younger sister, she has similar difficulties to me, and she has severe learning difficulties herself. And it's like I'm trying to teach her different ways of revising for her exams and helping her do assignments, because she never had that preparation before. She was never taught how to do assignments. And, having experience in doing assignments myself, I'm sort of teaching her ways to break it down in a way that she'll understand, and tailoring it in a way that she does understand. So, like I said before, everybody has their own skill set, their abilities. If you have learning difficulties, that's it's just a different way of learning rather than a disability.
I think young people need like advocates, really, in my opinion. I think it's so difficult because if your school's not listening to you, then what can you do? Like you can only say so much that you're struggling. So I think it is really difficult.
100%. Yeah. Richard, do you feel like you've had enough support with preparation for exams and assignments and things? Because at school, I feel like I knew I sort of had to teach my own ways to revise and the ways that suited me rather than just the standard that most people use.
Because I got to pick what I wanted to do for GCSEs year 9. Year 9 and 10, not really. Year 11, it was like, here you go. You can go to this place and this can help. You can go to the library and they'll have books for you and that.
That's really
good. At
the
end, we never really got it. So
no. Yeah, it's tricky. I still feel like even when I started university, I never knew how to reference, and I was never really taught the right way. I just had to get it wrong so many times that I sort of just got used to how to do it. But I feel like there could be more support within schools, university, colleges, and everything. That there isn't just the one way to do everything. You could be a visual learner, or you can just learn by repeating things or listening and things like that. But I think a lot of it is they believe people just do learn the one way, so they just teach the most popular way, and that they believe that will work for everyone, but it doesn't.
And I think a lot of it's really boring as well. At least from what I remember, like even university stuff. Like we had like guides and things like that, and like little interactive. So like you'd click on it and then you'd get like a little slideshow type thing, with the little like stuff going on. And honestly, it bored me to tears. Like I'd be there, I can't take in the information because I'm so mind-numbingly bored by this content. So I think it's important to like actually get students to connect with it on like a different level. So like you want to look at it, you want to read it. I think that's really important.
Yeah, because you're not going to learn if you don't feel like you're interested, or it's just boring you to tears. You're not going to want to learn, and you're not going to pay attention, and then it's just a waste of time when you could have been doing it in a way that suits you and that you could have been productive with.
Yeah. So we've got about just over 20 minutes left. So me and Charlotte, when we were planning these sessions, we were trying to come up with like little fun scenario questions sort of things. And one of the ones we came up with was a desert island scenario. So if you were stranded on a desert island, okay, and we're going to give you 6 objects, you can only pick 3 that's going to help you survive until you get rescued. So I've only got 6 written down for some reason, not 7. But you can only pick 3.
Okay.
So one of them is a pen, bath bomb, a whistle, lip balm, sun cream, and 1 t-shirt. You can only pick 3. Which 3 would you choose, Richard?
I'll take a t-shirt.
Okay.
I think that's a good standard one. What would you do with the t-shirt, Richard? How would you use it?
There is a way to actually get some water from it that I've seen. So that's some water. What was the other options?
Pen, bath bomb, whistle, lip balm, sun cream.
I'll grab a whistle.
Yeah.
And
You never know who's deserted. Might be someone with you. You never know.
also, if I get rescued, then don't worry, I'll just have to blow it. I'll take a pen so I can write on a tree something. I don't know.
What about you, Georgia?
Can you repeat them for me? So I can...
Yeah. I'll put them in the private chat we got.
Yeah, go for it.
Pen, bath bomb. I do apologise, my spelling is horrendous.
That's okay.
Whistle, lip balm, sun cream, and one t-shirt.
I would go with all of them the same as Richard. So I'd go with a t-shirt and a whistle, but I think I'd also use sun cream as well. Because say if you're stranded somewhere really hot and you can't find any shade, I think it's ideal. It's a must-have, because if your skin's all burnt, you could be ill from it. You could have sunstroke and things like that. So yeah, but then if you're somewhere cold, then it's not really ideal.
Depends. You never know where you're going to end up if you end up on a desert
Always
island.
good to be prepared. Georgia, have you thought of yours?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's go for it. Right. I'd pick a t-shirt because I could put it like over my head if it rains. But I could also obviously wear it if it's cold. I don't know what I'm going into this like wearing. Like, am I naked? Like, am I going in there with nothing on, or am I going there with like a snowsuit? Like, what's the situation? Am I au naturel?
So, let's say a plane crash.
Yeah, so you could be in like normal clothes. So I mean, you could use your clothes, but then you could also have an extra t-shirt, shall we say?
Cool. Okay. Yeah. With you. Okay. Yeah. I'll still stay with the t-shirt, because then I can also filter water through it, and then it collects all the nasty stuff in the cloth, and then you can just drink the niceness. Yeah, exactly. So me and you, Richard, we'd survive on the desert island. I'm telling you now. Okay. And then I'd pick a pen, because if there's like coconuts, then I can stab into the coconut, make a hole, and then drink the water, and all like the
must be able to do it hard.
I can't remember what is in a coconut. Is it like milk or is it water?
Coconut. Is it coconut water or coconut milk? I
think it's coconut water. And then you've got the flesh, haven't you, inside as well?
Have a little Google.
Yeah, you Google it, but that's basically what I'm saying. So coconut, pen, t-shirt, water. So my last one, I might be a bit of a rebel.
Sorry, that you can get. So in a coconut, there's both coconut water and coconut milk, and you have coconut as well. So you have.
So there's a full meal there. Oh, yeah, you're winning. Okay. And then my last one. Well, I mean, if you're on an island that has coconuts, and they probably have fruit as well and berries, because they grow in like the same climates, don't they? Yeah. Or at least like some kind of animal. Though I would want to be friends with the animals. I don't think I'd want to eat them.
But what if you're starving?
Well, I mean, honestly, Charlotte, if I was starving, I'd eat my own arm. But when it comes to animals, I might like leave the animals out of it. I might just let them live their little lives.
You don't want to anger the animals, do you? You don't want to get on the wrong side of them, especially if they're monkeys or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to be friends. You can do like a Tarzan scenario where like you
stretch your food up a tree or something.
Yeah, like they take you in. Okay, so in my desert scenario, I've got the t-shirt, and then I kind of just go au naturel, so I can be friends with the monkeys. Yeah. And then the monkeys take me in. I start speaking the monkey language. We eat lots of fruits and blah 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 blah. And then I'll pick lip balm, because when I'm making friends with the monkeys and the iguanas, things like that. They might have dry skin, so if I rub like a bit of lip balm on them, then they're gonna be like, yeah, exactly, because they might have dry, cracked skin, and they might think, oh, well, now that because monkeys have like really complex inner thoughts, and they'd
Yeah.
go, because she's helped me with my dry skin situation, my eczema, things like that.
Yeah.
I think she's really good, and I won't kill her.
I mean, that's the only logical answer, really, isn't it?
I mean, if you think it through, it's the only
It's
choice
obvious,
that really
really,
makes sense.
isn't it?
So,
So what
yeah.
did you choose? The t-shirt, the lip balm, and the pen, did you?
Yeah. I could have just said that, but I wanted to take you on a journey with me through my decision process, because I think
Right.
it's important.
I appreciate the detail.
I've
Well,
now
you pick
just had
Parker?
a huge insight into Georgia's
Yeah.
imagination.
You know, I think
love
these things through, okay? We had, before we actually came on today, we were talking about this a little bit, weren't we? And we were talking about, like, Skittles. It got onto the subject of Skittles, and we were talking about Skittles the game, and then Skittles the, like, sweets. And it was saying, can they say Skittles, as in reference in the game, or will they get sued by Skittles?
Is it
And
trademark?
if they do, will it be a Skittle man who's wearing a very colourful suit, and he comes and
Or we said a white suit if it's Pride Month, because they
Yes.
do white at Skittles in Pride Month. So,
yeah.
you know.
We went on a wild ride before we even came on today. So
Oh, what would I choose? I would choose a t-shirt, because
Yeah.
I've seen the exact same thing as filtering water, and you can wear it and you can change the t-shirt you got and wash it as
Then
you're
you wash
wearing
it in the
it.
water. So you've got a few outfits to choose
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, you know, living the life on the deserted island.
You've got a little bit.
Exactly. Sun cream, although I'd use it to its minimal, because you
Yeah.
want to make that stuff last.
So
The
you've
last
got
thing
to
you
fashion
need
it.
last thing you need is very bad sunburn infection, and you know. And I would choose a whistle, because if I was on a deserted island and I was with someone and I got lost, you could just blow the whistle and they could easily find you by the sound of the whistle.
It's very good. And I also thought for a whistle, if you buy yourself an board, you can make a bit of music from it. You know,
Exactly.
recite a
Bit of
few
entertainment.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
You might get really good at playing the whistle.
Yeah.
I think you'd chuck it in the water after about 5 days. You'd be like, I'm
Sorry,
sick of
Mike,
this. You'd be like, oh yeah, I've played 3 Blind Mice about a million times now, so
It'd be interesting
chuck
to know.
it in the sea.
It'd be interesting to know sort of how you'd spend your time and what you'd actually do if you were by yourself, like stranded. I'd like to know. I don't actually want to experience it, but I'd like to know what I'd do.
3 Blind Mice on a whistle.
That's
Be me.
I'll keep it through your day. That'll keep
That
it
for the first 10 days, and then I'd move on.
Okay. And just to finish off, sort of like, we've done sort of like what's the best thing that's happened over the weekend on Monday, and what one thing you're looking forward to during the week yesterday. So today we're going to do what's one good thing that's happened to you today. Can be anything. It can be you had a shower, or you had a hot chocolate, or you got some work done, or something simple. It can be as small as you want.
I would probably say that I'm very bad at laying in, like when I don't have to, so I'll just oversleep for ages. But I managed to get up about 8:30, 9 o'clock today, which is very early for me. And I felt like I had a bit of a productive morning compared to normal. So yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's a big achievement.
Georgia?
One good thing. How can I pick? So many things. So this morning we actually did our tea and toast with Community Courtyard at the yard, you know, and had a very productive chat about. We actually spoke about the Harry and Meghan thing because it was brought up the Oprah interview on Monday, I think it is. So yeah, we had a very heated discussion. I mean, at one point we were basically shouting at each other because I was like,
went showering yesterday.
everyone else was like, oh, like Meghan's trouble, and I was like, no, she's actually like basically fine. So So yeah, but it was good having that discussion. So that's my good thing.
Okay. Richard?
Pass. Parker. I'll think about it. I'm still thinking.
Okay.
What about this? What about this talk, Richard?
Yeah, this has got to be up there.
Okay.
Yeah,
been banging.
lovely
This
people.
This is it.
This has
Or
been the highlight of my day as well.
I played darts for like 20 minutes before I came on, and I'm just throwing really good numbers. So I'm like,
Nice.
I'm playing well in darts today, and I'm like, maybe that.
Yeah,
Yeah, say that.
what's happening?
I've never played darts properly.
No, I don't play darts, but I do archery. And the days that I do really well, I'm like, what's happened to me today? What have I done differently that I haven't done the previous days?
I played terrible the last 2 days, but when I started throwing today, I'm doing well, and I'm like, is today just one of those days where I can do well?
Yeah.
Some days it just clicks, doesn't it? And everything goes your way, and then others, you just do horrendous.
Yeah. Me. Okay. What's one good thing that's happened to me today?
You said you've been very busy, haven't you?
I have been very busy. I haven't really had time to myself. Because I did 2 interviews for my dissertation this afternoon, and then I tried to do some uni work. But the best thing that's happened to me today is
So
I
this
have
is
some
obviously
Cocoa
number
Pops.
one. This chat is obviously number one, so we're talking about number 2 because obviously nothing could top this conversation.
Obviously.
So
Yeah.
it's the second best thing to happen to you today,
Yeah.
Parker.
I had some Cocoa Pops today. I haven't had them
Oh,
for a
that's
little
really
while.
I love Cocoa Pops.
Yeah,
Taking
I
back
love
to my
Top
childhood.
tier cereal they are.
Yeah. What's your favourite cereal though?
I'm really boring. I like Special K. I love Special K with a bit of milk. It's so filling. I love it. And I like porridge as well.
I guess
porridge.
with porridge you can sort of add anything to it. You can add fruit, you can add
Honey,
honey.
Nutella.
Yeah. You can
That's
sort of
what I like.
make it so it suits you. Tailor it
Because
to yourself.
you're not having the same thing every day. If you mix it up, it's like having a different breakfast every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favourite's granola. So I have granola with like chopped up fruit and like Greek yogurt and a bit of honey.
That's
So that's
lovely.
probably. So I'm
Richard.
hungry now.
I know, right? Me too.
We're all going to be having cereal after this.
Yeah.
Richard,
I don't have cereal. I normally have toast in the morning.
Oh, I do love toast. What do you have on your toast?
What-
Just some butter.
Oh, buttery toast is lovely.
I
Back
go
to
through
basics.
stages. Yeah, I go through stages where I just eat butter toast.
I'll
If
have
I
it
have
straight from my mum.
If I have to pick my favourite cereal, it would be Frosted Flakes.
Oh, I do like.
That's a good choice.
There's just
Me?
never enough. I just want like 3 bowls.
Oh yeah, you can never get enough of cereal.
Can't.
For me,
What's yours, Parker?
mine is Morrison's Own Crave.
Oh, I love Crave.
Oh, I like how you've slipped in Morrison's there. You
Specific. You're not
you're looking
playing.
to do a deal.
Yeah,
A
I'm
little
not
bit
being
of promotion.
sponsored. I'm not being sponsored, but I highly recommend going to get some.
What is it?
We-
Is it
we
the chocolate
mentioned
ones?
Morrison's, eh?
You
It's the chocolate ones. So chocolate outside and chocolate inside. I'm not really a big fan of Crave's own stuff because I just find there's not enough like filling in it.
it's really hollow, aren't they? There's not.
Yeah.
They could put a bit more in there if they tried.
Yeah.
And it's so expensive as well.
Yeah, and plus you basically get like a chocolate milkshake afterwards because
Yeah.
the chocolate is soaked up by the milk.
That's the same
Absolutely.
with Cocoa
That's
Pops as
amazing.
well, isn't it?
Top tier. That's my top tier cereal.
Thank
Second
God
to
to.
that, yeah.
That's a
Second,
good top tier.
second to that is Cookie Crunch.
Oh,
Oh,
I just
yeah.
love cereal, to be honest. I could eat that all day.
It's basically
Maybe-
dessert, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be
is.
honest.
But then
Oh,
it's a breakfast. Breakfast for dessert. Dessert for breakfast.
I could just eat cereal. I could just live on cereal. So if there's cereal on this desert island, I'm set. You know.
Forget fruit and vegetables. Have cereal.
Exactly. Who wants to be healthy these days?
Especially if you're stranded. You want to eat what you
Yeah.
want to eat.
Yeah. Have to have
Yeah.
one piece of cereal a day just to survive.
Just one crave.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
too long.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's viewed this and who has said hi. Thank you, Richard, for coming on. Thank you, Georgia, for
problem.
coming on. It's been really nice having you both. And don't be strangers.
I'll come on again if you'll have me.
I'm
Oh,
back
yeah.
on Friday.
I'd like to have a little chat with you guys. I
Yeah,
think that could be quite
we're
fun.
doing a Friday 5 till 6. We're not doing one tomorrow because Park is busy, but we're doing
Yes.
one. But we're doing one Friday at the same time, so you're welcome to come, both of you.
I'm here. I'll be here.
Perfect.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, thank you guys for coming on as guests.
Yeah.
And we will see you on Friday. Say goodbye to the stream. Bye.